My name is Ken Gibb. I'm a professor in housing economics at the University of Glasgow, where I direct the UK Collaborative Centre for Housing Evidence. Roads to Home is an initiative that the university set up as part of its corporate strategy. It's the sort of civic mission part of that five-year plan. It came about when the senior management group, in putting this strategy together, contacted me to write a brief about a homelessness initiative. So their thinking was that, having done civic missions on decolonialisation and on climate change, they wanted to do something more close to home. And they landed on homelessness as a social problem that they thought the university as a civic institution could do something useful with. So I had a lot of help putting this brief together. People like Ligia Teixeira at the Centre for Homelessness Impact and Suzanne Fitzpatrick at Heriot Watt. And amazingly, they accepted my brief as in its totality. So working with David Duncan, who's the head of the university administration and the secretary of the university, and Cara Nugent, who's our administrator, we have put together a 3-year programme, which is now winding its way towards the end of its third year. So we have tried each year to do some research, drawing on the expertise of housing and homelessness researchers at Glasgow, alongside some work on education. So we're essentially trying to bring the things that the university obviously adds value in, and that's in subject expertise, in research ability, in education, and also the networks that we have. So we've had research projects, we've had educational initiatives, we've done a lot of social media work, a lot of blogging and things of that kind, and really getting to understand how the homelessness system works. We've been very clear since we started that we have bodies like the student body who do a great role in emergency voluntary work around people who are in crisis in homelessness terms. But we wanted to take a sort of step back and think about, what do we really mean by homelessness? What causes it? How do you prevent it? And how do you move towards a future where homelessness is rare and doesn't last long and being effectively eliminated? The main things that we have achieved is, first of all, we have undertaken a series of research projects, a scoping study of Glasgow's homelessness system, a study of student homelessness, which kind of erupted in the autumn of 2022 in Glasgow, when there was severe housing shortage, particularly for postgraduate students. And this year we're doing research on the Simon community and their access hub in the city centre, which is a fascinating project. We've also been doing educational initiatives, so at a school level, working with colleagues in the School of Education. We have been developing a module of lessons for the personal social education subject, which is really about understanding what homelessness really is, what really drives it, and what we might do about it. We thought this was an excellent way to, as it were, bring these social issues directly to young school children. We've also run a micro-credentials course, a postgraduate course on what is homelessness, and that has been led by my colleague Dr. Craig Gurney. It was a very successful course run in the spring, and we will use the materials from it in the future. And we've also established the kind of route or conduit to set up a postgraduate route through our Housing Studies programme, which is a professionally accredited programme at Glasgow, which will be for specifically caseworkers across Scotland, work for local authorities who are the front line of the homelessness system. I've learned a lot from doing this over the last 3 years. First of all, I've been amazed at the enthusiasm, seriousness, and the great work that our paid interns, we've had 9 paid interns on the programme. They have given us capacity which we otherwise wouldn't have had, but they have brought things to the table that we hadn't considered. They've been incredibly helpful and adaptable. So that's been a really important part of bringing students into the work we're doing. Secondly, I've been amazed by the qualities of professional people working to reduce homelessness in Glasgow, be it the City Council, be it the Health and Social Care Partnership, be it the long list of really amazing third sector, voluntary sector bodies. I've also learned that Glasgow has amazing networks and a real deep involvement in homelessness that you don't see at the surface, because we have people in law, in medicine, in education, in criminal justice, in housing and urban studies, all of whom are playing an important role. We have PhD students, we have people who have done really important research. All of these things are going on, and because Glasgow is a large, broad-based institution, it's possible to really pull people together and make things happen. Well, I think other universities could do something similar to what we've done, in the sense that there already are some who are doing things in different parts of the UK. What's maybe distinctive about the Glasgow initiative is that it was an initiative and it's operating in a big institution. So we have this broad base that allows us to draw on different capacities, different skill sets, etc. And that's really important. But of course, there's things we haven't done that others could do, perhaps. So maybe there is surplus property or land. Maybe there's potential partnerships with housing providers like housing associations. Maybe there's even investments that can be done, which can have a social investment outcome, which helps in the way of providing finance for those organisations who would provide homes for the homeless. I think the one thing I would probably add to our discussion so far is that the context has really changed in Scotland. So in the last 18 months, we've had a number of local authorities, including Glasgow and Edinburgh and Aberdeen, as well as rural and other councils, who have declared a housing emergency and said that they need a general partnership and a kind of housing emergency impact or action plan to address the most extreme homelessness issues that they are facing. So the big issue in Glasgow, as it is in Edinburgh, is we have too many people in temporary accommodation. They have a statutory right to accommodation before more settled accommodation is found for them, but people are staying there too long. There are many children and families in temporary accommodation, thousands of them, and we don't have enough social housing or permanent solutions for people, so they stay longer and longer and longer in unsuitable accommodation. And we need to find better ways to prevent them getting into that situation in the first place. So that's become a really critical issue for the Scottish Government and for public policy. So while we've been trying to raise the sort of knowledge base and raise people's awareness of these issues, it's becoming more and more important and significant. And it's just a reminder that it's not people rough sleeping who obviously want to minimise, and it's not people begging, it's all the other forms of homelessness that lie beneath the surface, the people who sofa surf, the people who are hidden homes, people sleeping in cars and not having secure, adequate, affordable accommodation. It's not always visible to people walking through the city centre. They will see other examples of homelessness, but there's much more going on, which is all part of a complex but solvable problem.